wrong with them. Okay, but if I had to just add upon that hacking, that definition, I would add it as hacking is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. Okay, these information systems could be anything. They could be from as small as a mobile phone to as big as a web application server or a database or the cloud organization as well. Okay, and this is done without the permission or without the consent and knowledge of the person owning those systems. Okay, so if those systems belong to a third party person, that person does not know that someone is trying to gain access to their information or the data. Okay, and this is usually performed by hackers for their own benefit. So once they get access to the systems, they can steal the data, destroy the data, or sell the data as well to other third party vendors. Okay. Now, depending on this definition, we easily understand that hacking is a malicious job. It is a criminalistic task. If it is such a bad thing to do, why do we have a course called ethical hacking? Is the second question. Because ethical is something which is legal, which is allowed. And how can it stand beside the word hacking, which is completely contradictory? So to define ethical hacking, on the other hand, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. Okay, a vulnerability is nothing but a flaw or a loophole in the information system. So usually manufacturers might make mistakes somewhere here or there in the coding of the application. Okay, so that gives rise to something known as weaknesses in the information system, or in technical terms, it is also called as vulnerabilities. Okay, and this vulnerability finding, or the process of trying to find these vulnerabilities, is done with the consent and permission of the organization. Okay, so this is done in order to report it back to the target, okay, or to the authority, so that they can apply the appropriate patch for it. And once a patch is applied, that vulnerability is closed. It closes the doorway for the hacker to cause any harm. So thereby, with ethical hacking, we're trying to increase the security of the organization rather than cause any harm. Okay, so that is the main difference, guys, between hacking and ethical hacking. Where in hacking, we are trying to find, again, the hacker tries to take advantage of those vulnerabilities and tries to get information access. But in ethical hacking, you're trying to find those vulnerabilities, you're trying to report them back to get them patched so that you can increase the security. Okay, so I hope these two definitions are clear, guys. Again, if you have any questions, or if you have any queries, or if you want me to repeat something, please do not hesitate to let me know. Okay, feel free to interrupt me at any certain point. Okay, so now, depending on these two definitions, guys, of hacking and ethical hacking, we can categorize the types of hackers. So basically, there's three types. There's someone known as a black hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, and a white hat hacker. A black hat hacker can also be termed as a cyber criminal who performs hacking for his own benefit, okay, or sometimes even just for fun, without asking for consent. On the other end of the scale, we have the white hat hacker. Okay, white hat hackers are also known as ethical hackers or penetration testers. These are the people who abide by the laws and policies of the organization, and they work hand in hand with them to find the vulnerabilities and report it back. They do that so that they can secure the infrastructure rather than causing any harm. Now, in between, there's a third category, also known as gray hat hackers. Now, from the name itself, you can figure out they have some qualities of the black hat hacker as well as the white hat hacker, hence a mixture. Okay, so like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission before finding the vulnerabilities, but once they find the vulnerability, they report it back to the organization. Okay, and that is done in return for a bounty. A bounty is nothing which benefits them. It could be a financial reward or a reputational reward, anything which benefits them or their careers. Right. So all these three types of hackers, whether it be a black hat hacker or a gray hat hacker or a white hat hacker, they perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain number of steps. Okay. And those steps collectively are called as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. Okay. Now let me list those steps out one by one so that you can have a clear picture of what the whole course is about, and then we'll briefly discuss about all of them. Okay, so you can ask your questions regarding those. Okay, so the first step that you perform in hacking cycle or cyber kill chain is known as information gathering. Now, certain organizations term this step in different names. They can also call it as reconnaissance or footprinting. Second step is known as scanning. It can also be referred to as enumeration. Third step is gaining access. Fourth step is maintaining access. And the last step is known as reporting or clearing traces. Now, the reason I've specifically mentioned "or" in the last step over here is because that is where it makes all the difference between the white hat hackers and black hat hackers. If you're a white hat hacker or an ethical hacker, you would perform the first 4 steps, and then you would generate a report with all the vulnerabilities and the solutions for that and submit it to the organization. But if you're a black hat hacker, obviously you're not going to submit the vulnerabilities, but you're going to take advantage of them. You're going to attack the system, get access to the data, steal the data, and then remove all the evidences, which is nothing but clearing the traces or removing the footprints. Okay. So any questions or doubts, guys, up to this part before I proceed further into the technical part? Any queries or any confusion at the moment? Again, guys, I hope the audio and video is fine. Any issues with my audio or video?
Okay. What is this enumeration, sir?
Again, yeah, we'll be coming to that, guys. We'll discuss each of these steps one by one, so you have a better understanding of what all of them are. Okay. At the moment, until now, here there are no questions, right? Because I guess there's some issues with the audio or video. Some people are exiting and rejoining again. Any issues, any technical issues with my audio or video at the moment? Okay, perfect.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Oh, my voice is breaking. 1 second, guys. Okay, hello, 1 2 3. Hello, 1 2 3.
Now it is
Guys,
okay.
it's okay, right? Right, perfect.
Clear, sir.
Right. Let's proceed now, guys, and understand each of these steps one by one, so you have a clear picture of what they are. So the first step is information gathering. Again, as the name itself suggests, this step involves the hacker or the ethical hacker to gather as much data as possible about your penetration testing target. Okay, and all this information is gained passively. What I mean by passively is that you get this information from other third-party sources rather than contacting the organization directly. Okay, so for example, if I have a target like Wipro.com, about Wipro.com, I'll start searching online for all the material for it, okay, all the data regarding Wipro.com servers. Okay, the main question is, what kind of data are we talking about over here? And this is the information that we require. So firstly, we try to figure out all the IP addresses and the range of IPs used by the Wipro's main servers or the secondary servers. Then the who is records to understand who is hosting Wipro.com and since when has it been hosting itself. Then the DNS records to understand what information is stored in their DNS servers, domain name servers. Then employee details such as their contact numbers, their email addresses, their usernames and passwords which are leaked, and their home addresses if possible, and so on. So then the domains and the subdomains of Wipro's website, and the operating system information, like what OSs are being used by the servers that are linked with Wipro.com. Now, trust me, this guys, that all this information is available online to be gathered. So if I show you a very basic example, let's say if I wanted to find the DNS records for Wipro's organization, all I have to do is go to the browser, and in the browser, I can search for a website called DNS Dumpster. This website is available for free for anyone to access. You can click on the first link, and over here you can just search for Wipro.com, and you can click on search, and now this is going to fetch and give you all the information about the Wipro's DNS servers. So first things first, it tells you where the Wipro servers are being located on the geolocation map. So it tells us that there are 4 DNS servers for Wipro. As you can see, these are their host names, exact host names, and these are the exact public IPs. These IP addresses are very important for a hacker or an ethical hacker to proceed with the further steps of scanning and enumeration. Okay. After that, we can see that there's the host record telling us what are the Wipro servers IP addresses and the subdomains IP addresses. So this is the main Wipro.com server, which is being hosted on the IP 66.7.148.227. Again, this information is very relevant for a hacker or an ethical hacker to proceed further. Further down, you can also see it also gives us the complete network topology. So this is how Wipro servers are connected to one another, and we have the whole network topology with the host names and their IP addresses. Okay, so this is basically whole Wipro's organization main server data. So again, this data is readily available, guys, for anyone to be accessed. That is not the vulnerability. Wipro themselves manually give out this data so that everyone around the world can access their servers. If this information is not given out, not many people will be able to access Wipro services and the website. Okay, the giving out of information is not wrong over here, but not checking if the information that you're giving is secure or not is the vulnerability. Okay, so we have to see that whatever Wipro is disclosing, all these servers one by one are completely secure. Okay, after information gathering is done, then we go to the next phase, which is known as scanning or enumeration. Now, one of you asked me what scanning or enumeration is. This is nothing but trying to get some extra information about the target by making active connections. What I mean by active connections is that you will directly connect to Wipro servers, and from them you will try to fetch the information. Okay. Similarly, when we talk about enumeration, that is about gathering as much information as possible about all the services that are running on the target organization. So in a Wipro's organization, you might have DNS service, DHCP service, SNMP service, Telnet service, SSH service. These are the multiple servers, multiple web servers, or multiple other organizational servers. So about each of that server, you need to get information, like what version of services are they running and what applications are they running. So enumeration is trying to gather information about all the servers one by one by making active connections with them. Okay, so you're directly going to ping those servers and you try to fetch the information from them directly rather than contacting any third-party organization. Now, when we talk about scanning or enumeration, there are three types of them. There's something known as network scanning, then port scanning, and then finally vulnerability scanning. In network scanning, we can try to figure out on the target network what all devices are active. Okay, so what operating systems are they using, what servers are available, what client operating systems are there. So trying to understand what all devices are they using, IDS, IPS, routers, switches, what all devices are there. On those devices, then you perform port scanning. Port scanning is where you try to figure out what ports are open, and on those ports, what services are there running. Okay, what applications are there running. Then finally, you perform vulnerability scanning to figure out on those services, are there any vulnerabilities? Are there any weaknesses that you can attack on? So during this phase, we'll be using two important tools called Nmap and Nessus. So if I just search for enable Nessus over here, this is the tool that is used in organizations as well. So if I click on the first link, as you can see, this Nessus Professional. If I click on buy, it's around $4,000 for 1 year subscription. Okay, quite an expensive tool, and this is the same tool that is used in real-time scenarios. So we'll be working on the same tool in our classes as well. We'll try to understand how to use this tool and how to run or perform vulnerability scanning. The reason why I'm showing you all this is just to make you understand that we will be using real-time scenario tools. Okay, whatever is used in organizations at the moment, we are up to date with those tools. Okay, after if I show you example, as you can see, I have the Nessus installed on my system over here. I'll show you how you can install on your system as well. And you can see, you can perform various types of scans. And once you scan a system, it shows all the vulnerabilities one by one. The critical vulnerabilities or medium vulnerabilities, information-based vulnerabilities. Again, don't get too confused, guys. We'll again learn how to understand this report. What are these vulnerabilities? What are these different levels of vulnerabilities? We'll understand all that. Okay, but basically Nessus is a tool which can perform network scanning or port scanning and try to understand what vulnerabilities are there on each and every system. So this is an automated tool. We'll learn how to perform automated testing and get a report from it. Once you get a report, you need to perform manual testing also. Okay, and that is nothing but our next phase, which is gaining access. Okay, so this is a huge concept. It covers a vast variety of topics, guys. We'll discuss them one by one. Okay, so the first topic that we'll be learning in gaining access is system hacking. So in system hacking, we'll understand how we can crack or bypass a Windows operating system password. So if you have Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10 or Windows 11, does not matter. Okay, whatever operating system you have, how do we crack that operating system? How do we get the information about their passwords? If you are unable to get the passwords, how can we bypass authentication and get access to the internal files is what we learn in system hacking. After that comes malware attacks. Malwares are nothing but, in short, malicious softwares. So we'll practically learn how to create each of these malwares, whether it be viruses or worms or trojans, spyware, whatever it be. We'll understand how malwares are generated and how we can protect our system from malwares. Or if there is a malware already installed, how can we detect that malware and prevent it from running further or causing any further harm. Okay, then there's a bonus topic called malware advanced. This is again not included in the CH curriculum. We have just added it as a bonus topic for students to have better understanding about malwares.